What is codependency? I believe that codependency is what happens to us as children when we are a victim of abuse, especially narcissistic abuse, because our parents feel ashamed. They will project that shame onto the child. For example, if they are trying to get the child out the door and the child is taking too long, they might react with anger or disgust, or even start shaming the child for being so slow or whatever. And so then the child then takes on that shame, because instead of the parent just thinking, wow, I wonder what's going on with my child. Maybe this is just a developmentally appropriate thing that she can't, get out the door in 10 minutes when she's a toddler, right? And so the child then starts to believe that they are shameful. So we take on this persona, rather than actually as a child, they probably feel ashamed, but because they can't feel that feeling, then, we take on the, this false persona that I am a shameful person. And so then the child starts to learn that in order to avoid that kind of abuse, which is so painful, they learn that they need to start hiding parts of themselves and pretending that they're someone else. And they start to fawn or people please in order to try to gain the acceptance and approval of the parents, which for narcissistic parents never comes. So it's just an endless and painful process of a child constantly kind of putting their needs aside, putting their feelings aside in order to try to fit in, to try to be accepted by their parents. And so this becomes, and the reason that they fawn is because there's the 4 F's. So there's fight. Well, they can't fight because the parent is 2, 3, 4 times their size. Flight, there's nowhere really to run to. They completely depend on their parents for everything, for their basic survival. So fight, flight, freeze, and freeze is often another one that is used. Freeze is just sort of it kind of connects a little bit to fawning. Freeze is just, you just sort of try to be unnoticed, and you just be really quiet and hope that the abuser won't notice you, so that you can avoid their abuse. And so along that with fawning, so not only just sort of being quiet and pretending, trying not to be noticed, but also then, trying to actually, please the abuser, which sounds, it's so sad that children, this is a coping mechanism. And I really want to make that clear, that codependency is a reaction to abuse. It is a trauma response. And so it is not your fault, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I noticed myself recently, feeling like I was pathetic because I was people pleasing. I'm like, no, there I go, people pleasing again, and not standing up for my needs, and my boundaries are sliding, and feeling shame about that. So it's important to know that it really is not your fault, that it was really just your way of surviving your childhood, to please and to try to gain the approval and acceptance of your parents. And kids do this a little bit naturally, but when you have an abusive parent, then it really turns into a nonstop, and it becomes from the shame-based kind of identity, and feeling that, I'm not acceptable as I am, and I need to change myself in order to fit in here, and believing that my needs aren't important, and in fact believing that I have to forfeit my needs in order to be in this family. And often that is basically the case, that it's really give thanks to your inner child who survived that very crazy abusive situation in the best way that she could. And so yeah, codependency, and then it's just this, it's deeply ingrained in us that we are not worthy, our needs are not important, and then yeah, making other people's needs more important than our own. So instead of being self-referencing, and how am I feeling, and what do I need, and we become very other focused, like what does that person want me to be like, and what is that person feeling, and how can I behave differently so that they're happier. So we often, instead of directly setting a boundary and saying, this is my need, and you can choose to, respect that or not, we kind of indirectly try to get our needs met by people pleasing, by saying, well, let's see, if I behave like this, or if I do this, then the other person will be happy, and then they will treat me like I want to be treated, like with more respect or more gentleness or whatever. So it's kind of this kind of it's really controlling in a way. Oh, it is controlling, to try and change yourself in order to get a specific kind of response from someone else. So in all this process, basically we lose ourselves, we lose our authenticity, we lose our true self and our connection to God, and to to that, whatever you call it, your higher self or higher power. Yeah, I was dreaming last night about, just wearing a mask, and it felt so awful to be wearing that like plasticky kind of face. Yeah, it's important to grieve what you have lost, years and years of your life, pretending to be someone else, just, and yeah, it's a deeply painful thing to process. And it takes time to uncover so many layers of this. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And as always, I am wishing you many, many blessings on your journey of healing and awakening. And if you have any comments or questions, I'm more than happy to reply, or I would just love to hear them. And you can find me at boldnessblooming.com. And I'm Davina Shemaya. Thank you for watching.